So hey anime fans, this series name is What If Naruto and Power Rangers, so let's start the series. Man, that was easy. Let's see what jutsu I'll learn first. Huh, what's this? Asked Naruto. Naruto then directed chakra into his hand and applied it to the odd storage seal, which had various designs. What caught his attention was a strange silver box with a hole at the end and a red striped pattern on the outline. And it's the quantum controller box. What is this? Asked Naruto in his mind. He was surrounded by lightning emanating from the box as he inserted his palm inside the hole. H was Naruto's cry as he was flung back a few steps and now lay on the ground, knocked out. The mindscape of Naruto. Soon after, Naruto awoke in a big sewer with a cage at the end of the hallway that was sealed. Behind the cage, Kyuubi remarked, "So my jailer finally reveals himself, he. Naruto yelled at the person incarcerated. "Who or what the heck are you?" Kyuubi said. "You have brain, figure it out." To Naruto. After giving it some thought, Naruto said to the fox, "You're the Kyuubi no Kitsune." "No wonder people kept calling me a demon," Naruto murmured to himself. "But that doesn't make me the demon, for crying out loud." "No, Naruto," a fresh voice said. When Naruto turned to check whose voice it was, 3 people were there. One was a man wearing a white trench coat, a typical Jonin attire, the 4th Hokage's kanji on the back, blonde hair with sideburns running down his side, and cerulean blue eyes. He also wore the Konoha headband. The second was a stunning woman with violet eyes and long red hair who wore a green dress over a zip-up shirt. The final man was dressed in black combat boots and all-navy blue combat pants, black fingerless gloves, a navy blue cap with the word CGD written on it, a black utility belt around his waist, a pair of headphones with a microphone on the right, and a long-sleeved navy blue shirt with lots of pockets. "The 4th is in my mind, but why and how does he my name?" replied Naruto. Minato turned to face the redhead now known as Kushina and said, "Because I'm the one who named you, right, Kushina?" "Yep," replied Kushina enthusiastically, turning to Minato. Minato lowered his head and murmured softly, "I'm also the one who sealed the Kyuubi inside of you." After learning that his parents were Konoha's Yellow Flash and Red Death, Naruto became enraged and hit Mineo in the stomach. Before that, he was astonished. Naruto was crying as he yelled at Minato and Kushina. Why would you do this to your own son? Do you have any idea on what I've gone through? People kept ignoring me, kept throwing me out of restaurants, and I couldn't even make any friends." As he recovered from the blow, Minato questioned, "How old are you, Naruto?" They were disturbed by his statement. "Naruto, as a Hokage I had to make tough decisions." 12, Naruto stated in a melancholy voice. He placed his palm on Naruto and said, "Not even 16 yet, huh?" "A parent's job was to believe in their child and," Minato added, "we believe in you that you can control the Kyuubi's power." As she and Minato were beginning to fade away, Kushina exclaimed, "Oh, and one more thing, if you see your godfather Jiraiya, kick him in the nuts for me for peeking on US database." Naruto was taken aback when he heard Minato say, "And don't forget we love you." At what she stated, every man in the room shuddered. With tears streaming down his cheeks, Naruto muttered, "Goodbye, Mom and Dad," before asking the third person, "Wait, who are you and why aren't you fading?" "My name is Eric and I'm here to tell you that you just activated the quantum morpher," stated Eric. Naruto questioned Eric. "You mean that weird box that was in the scroll?" "Yep, I know because I was the first one to wield the morpher." explained Eric. And since it's linked to me, I'll be here guiding you to help, replied Eric. Remember me, Kyubi urged the two humans. When you wake up, you'll see a device strapped to your wrist, Eric stated. Naruto turned to face Eric and remarked, Wait, but I don't know how to use it. Don't worry, to morph just shout out quantum power while putting it here your face, Eric said. Naruto remarked, Thanks, Eric-san. Just call me Eric, please, Eric said to Naruto. As his son began to awaken, Naruto yelled, Well, I got to wake up, see ya. Perhaps I should read one more jutsu. Naruto thought to himself as he quickly found himself motionless with the scroll. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, replied he. Perhaps I could learn this one. After an hour, What do you think you're doing, Naruto? Iruka called out to Naruto. As he stood up, the blonde said, Iruka-sensei, I finally learned a jutsu. Does that mean I get to graduate? What? Who said you could? Iruka questioned bewilderedly. Telling Iruka. Mizuki-sensei did, Iruka wondered. Mizuki, but why? But was cut off when a large shuriken was hurled at him. Get down! Iruka yelled as he slammed Naruto to the ground. Mizuki remarked mockingly, Kakuku, look what we have here, as Iruka and Naruto stood up. It was a trick, wasn't it, Mizuki-sensei? But why? Mizuki merely snorted with a perverted grin when Naruto yelled at him. Mizuki yelled, Hey Naruto, I got something to tell you. Do you know why people hate you? As he turned to face Naruto. So I can become powerful for my master, and then he will give me power beyond my own. No, Mizuki, you're not allowed! Iruka yelled. Mizuki yelled at Naruto, who was reclining on the scroll with a bored expression. It's because the Yondaime sealed the Kyubi inside of you, Naruto said. I already know, and even though I have it sealed inside of me doesn't make me the Kyubi. Leaving Iruka grinning and Mizuki in disbelief. That's correct, Naruto, you're just a jailer, Iruka thought, grinning proudly. Mizuki yelled at Naruto. Whatever demon, now die! As he threw the giant shuriken. However, Naruto stunned both professors by deflecting it with a kunai. I'll show you true power, hee. You call that power? Naruto yelled. Quantum power! As he put the black and red device with 7 gray buttons on his left wrist to his face. Then, as the light faded, the teachers were startled to see a man wearing a red suit with black on his shoulder, a gun holster on his waist with an odd symbol on the buckle, black bands on his wrists, and red boots and gloves attached to the suit on his knees. With a yell under the helmet, Naruto said, Give up, Mizuki, you're outmatched. Mizuki yelled, Never, in response to Naruto, who then grabbed his gun. So be it, Naruto said, making the cross-hand gesture. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. As thousands of Narutos surrounded Mizuki, whose eyes were as wide as dinner plates, and who was now terrified to death when the clones pointed their blasters at them. Quantum Defender Blaster Mode, ready aim fire, yelled the original as they all fired at Mizuki simultaneously. When they halted, they dispersed since all that was left was Mizuki, who was unconscious and covered in burns. Perhaps I went overboard, Naruto remarked as he approached Iruka. Power down, putting on his original orange jumpsuit. Iruka instructed Naruto to come here and close his eyes, and he did so. You can open them now, Iruka stated. Iruka's headband was now over Naruto's forehead when he opened his eyes again. Congratulations, Naruto! You're officially a genin of Konoha, Iruka exclaimed to Naruto, who was taken aback and offered him a firm embrace. Naruto gave Iruka a hug and murmured, Thank you, thank you, thank you. Iruka said to Naruto. Let's go get some Ichiraku and then return the scroll. And Naruto nodded. Naruto told the Sandying. And that's what happened, Gigi. With a sorrowful tone, Hiruzen said to Naruto. I'm sorry, Naruto. You weren't supposed to know about your parents until you were a Chunin. Naruto said to his surrogate grandfather, who was grinning slightly. That's okay, I know you were trying to protect me so you don't have to worry about it. One thing you have to worry about is the council. They might try to steal my morpher from me or Sasuke team might take it from me. Naruto cautioned. Don't worry, I'll try to keep an eye out just in case, sigh. Just the paperwork they will send me is what I have to worry about. Hiruzen thought to himself. Hey Gigi, why don't you just use the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to help? Said Naruto. Maybe they could help speed up the process. Hiruzen's eyes widened as he recognized it. Excuse me, he muttered, opening a drawer and taking out a piece of paper with the words, "Hit here," written on it. He then put the paper on his desk, sat down, and began to bang his head, repeating and shouting as he did so. Everyone, even the covert ANBU, tried to contain their laughter but failed right away. Well, I'm gonna go buy some new clothes. Don't get me wrong, I like orange, but I need something that doesn't make me look like a walking target, remarked Naruto. The Sedame said, All right, then you're fired. Would you mind helping Naruto buy a new outfit? As they left the office, Iruka said to Naruto, Sure, I don't mind. Come on, let's get you out of that jumpsuit. Oh, one more thing, Naruto, since you are the last of your clan, you'll be put under the CRA, meaning you'll have multiple wives, Hiruzen said. Naruto nodded in agreement as he stated, Okay, Gigi, but I get to choose since I don't want a loveless marriage. All right, Naruto, let's buy your weapons and clothes here, Iruka stated to Naruto as they were now being taken to a store that sold both. As Naruto and Iruka entered the store together, he worriedly questioned, I don't know, Iruka-sensei, what if they tried to kick me out like everyone else does? Iruka told Naruto, who was looking astonished. Don't worry, Naruto. These people knew your parents very well and always bought their weapons here. Greetings, what can I get? Oh, Iruka, nice to see you, said the man behind the register, dressed in a black apron, a short button-up shirt, and black thick gloves. And you must be Naruto, your father and I go way back, he said. The names are Dan, by the way. Go ahead and look around the place and see what you like. You can try out outfits in the changing room, he said. Naruto said to his teacher. Okay, I'll be right back, Iruka-sensei. After 5 minutes, when Naruto returned, he looked completely different. He wore black combat boots, black ANBU-style pants with a ninja pouch tied to his left thigh, a red short-sleeved shirt with an arrow with jagged edges that matched the pattern on his suit, black fingerless gloves, and a black trench coat that reached his lower knees, showed off his quantum morpher on his left wrist, and had red flames licking the bottom of the sleeves. He spoke to his teacher. What do you think? Iruka remarked. You look like a true shinobi. After observing Naruto in his new attire, Dan remarked, You look exactly like your father. Anything else? He questioned Naruto. Can I get a full set of kunai and shuriken and some weight seals? Naruto inquired. Coming right up, Dan said. A new voice emerged from the stairs as he was preparing the set. The new female customer exclaimed, Hey, Dad! She had brown hair tied in 2 buns on the side, resembling panda ears. She was wearing black ninja pants with a ninja pouch tied to her right thigh and a shinobi headband tied to her forehead, indicating that she was involved in last year's Genin and Blue Ninja scandals. Hey Dad, who's this? The new customer asked. Dan said, Tenten, this is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this is Tenten, my daughter. Setting down the shuriken and kunai set. It's nice to meet you, Tenten, Naruto murmured, pulling out his hand with a foxy smile that made her flush, something Dan noted as he smirked. After shaking his hand, Tenten remarked, It's nice to meet you too. While paying for the products, Naruto remarked, Well, it's getting late. I should get going and get some training in for next week's team placement. See ya next week, Irika-sensei. Bye Dan, see ya Tenten-chan. Naruto muttered as he hurried out the door, Tenten blushing at the honorifics. You like him? Tenten was teased by Dan. Tenten yelled, Shut up! While thinking of Naruto. Even though he was cute. As Eric led Naruto through training at a training ground, he and Kyuubi established a mental bond. Alright, Naruto, start morphing so we can get ready for next week, Eric said in Naruto's mind. Alright, Eric, Naruto thought as he spoke to him. Quantum power! He yelled, placing his morpher next to his mouth, and he changed into his Quantum Ranger costume. Alright, Naruto, let's start with practicing our aiming and our kenjutsu along with tree climbing chakra control that Kyuubi whipped up, Eric said to Naruto. Now, as he pulled out his Quantum Defender, let's do this. After a week, Naruto had perfected his kenjutsu and targeting techniques in addition to the tree climbing drill that Kyuubi had taught him. He was currently en route to the Hokage Tower to have his photo taken. Alright, stand still and... the cameraman said as Naruto was being photographed for his ninja ID when a flash occurred. Looking at Naruto's photo, Hiruzen said, You look just like your father Naruto. You're like a carbon copy of him, he said. Thanks for the compliment, Gigi, Naruto muttered, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. A new voice said, I got you now, old man, that hat is going to be mine. It was a young boy wearing a safety helmet, a long scarf around his neck, and a shuriken in his hand. He was running toward Hiruzen when he stumbled on his scarf by accident. What happened? The boy asked himself, looking around before he saw Naruto. You were the one that tripped me, weren't you? He accused Naruto. Naruto snatched up the child from his scarf and exclaimed angrily, Me? You tripped on your scarf, you idiot! The newcomer, who was wearing a typical Jonin outfit without the flak jacket and black round sunglasses, said, Honorable grandson Konohamaru, there you are, you worried me. Put down the honorable grandson, you brat, the person said, glaring at Naruto while holding Konohamaru. Gazing at Konohamaru, Naruto pondered. Honorable grandson. Yeah, that's right, so put me down, Konohamaru said. Now that he knows I'm related to the Hokage, he'll put me down, he reasoned. While Konohamaru was nursing his head, Ebisu's jaw dropped in shock. I don't care if you're related to the Hokage, Naruto yelled as he punched the top of Konohamaru's skull. Naruto informed Hiruzen, I have to get team placement still, so I'll be leaving now, Gigi. Hiruzen said, Very well, you're dismissed. Ebisu was going to capture Konohamaru as Naruto was leaving, but he saw that he had disappeared and understood that he had followed Naruto. Naruto saw a moving blanket while strolling down the street. Okay, come out, your disguise stinks, he said, as the blanket folded up to expose Konohamaru. According to Konohamaru, so you were able to see through my disguise, expected from my rival, was Naruto's bewildered response. I want you to be my boss so it can be a shortcut to become Hokage and people will see me as me and not the Hokage's grandson, said Konohamaru. Naruto asked Konohamaru to join him, saying, "But I could help you, follow me." "Kid, there isn't a shortcut to being Hokage. You have to aim high for that goal and work hard for it," Naruto said. The bewildered Konohamaru. "I'll be teaching you in tree climbing." Was Konohamaru's bewildered response. Konohamaru was taken aback by Naruto's ability to climb trees without using his hands. "Whoa, how did you do that?" he said in a startled tone. After an hour, Ebisu arrived to take up Konohamaru. "Just channel your chakra into your feet and start walking up," Naruto explained. Ebisu said, "There you are, Konohamaru. We have to go so you can use my shortcuts to become Hokage." "No way, I just found out that there isn't a shortcut, and I have to push myself to become Hokage," Konohamaru said Ebisu. "Besides, I just learned how to tree walk," Ebisu pondered. "Maybe I was mistaken about the brat," Naruto said. "Well, I have to get going, see ya, Konohamaru, and keep practicing," as he ran to the academy. When he arrived at the building and entered his classroom, most of the females were taken aback to find Naruto wearing a headband and dressed differently. Some of the girls, particularly Hinata, who was seated at the desk in the rear, blushed at Naruto. Kiba said to Naruto, who was grinning, "What the hell are you doing here, Naruto?" "This is for graduates only," Naruto clarified. "Look at the headband, I went by to get some extra credit." Irika shouted to the class, "Everybody sit down and shut up. And we'll be bypassing his spiel about being a genin and proceeding directly to team placement." The words, "Team 7 Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno, your sensei will be under Kakashi Hatake," bemoaned as Naruto, with his head down on the table, stated that he wouldn't get along with the so-called Uchiha elite. Hinata was a little disappointed that she wasn't on Naruto's team. "Team 8 is Shino Abdurame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Hinata Hyuga. Your sensei is Kurinai Yuhi." Irika described the final team, saying, "Team 9 is currently in circulation, and Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Chuji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka. Your sensei is Asuma Sarutobi." Team 7 was becoming agitated when the Jonin senseis arrived 2 hours ago. Team 8 and 10 had left by then, and the door opened to reveal a man with silver spiky hair reading an orange book. "My opinion of you three are boring, meet me on the roof," he said, disappearing in a leaf shunshin. The team then began to head for the roof. Team 7 was currently meeting their new sensei on the academy's roof. Naruto was seated in the center of the group, with Sasuke on the left, frowning, and Sakura on the right, gazing at Kakashi. Kakashi smiled and stated, "Okay, let's get started with introductions," referring to his genin. Sakura said, "Like what, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi told everyone. "You know, your name likes, dislikes, dreams, and hobbies," Sakura remarked. "Why don't you go Fist-sensei?" "Okay, my name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes are none of your business. My dislikes are also none of your business. My hobbies are still none of your business. And for my dreams, I think I'll tell you when you get older," Kakashi remarked as he returned to his book. Everyone stared at him with a deadpan expression and thought, "All we learned is his name." "Your turn, Pinky," Kakashi gestured to Sakura. The second time she squealed, she said, "My hobbies include. My dreams are. My name is Sakura Haruno and my likes are my family, my brother figure Naruto and..." She squealed as she turned to face Sasuke. "And your dislikes?" inquired Kakashi. Sakura's shout of, "I know, pig," made everyone cringe at the noise. "All right, Mr. Brooding," Kakashi said, gesturing to Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. Don't like a lot of things along with my dislikes. My dream is more of an ambition, and it's to restore my clan and hunt down and kill a certain man," he said as he returned to his thoughts. Kakashi pointed to Naruto and said, "Okay, now you." "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and my likes are ramen, Hokage training, and learning new jutsus. My dislikes are waiting 3 minutes for ramen to cool, perverts, traitors, rapists, and those who can't tell the difference between a scroll and a kunai sealed in the scroll." This surprised Kakashi as well as his two teammates. Did he learn? Kakashi inquired in his mind. "My hobbies include training, practicing my kenjutsu, practicing my aim, and hanging out with my friends. My dream is to become Hokage so people can finally respect me and to protect those who I cared about, and to bring peace to the world," he said, stunning everyone with a lofty objective. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask and thought, "He really is Sensei's son." Sasuke brooded, thinking, "A dope like him won't even accomplish that goal." As Sakura looked at Naruto, she thought, "I'll try to help achieve that goal, Naruto." "Sha! That's our brother figure," replied Sakura's inner voice. No jutsu flashback. First year of academy, one of Sakura's 3 bullies said, "Look at her big forehead," pointing to it. The other bully yelled, "Yeah, like anyone wants to have a friend like her," a fresh voice said. "Hey! Leave her alone." They turned to see Naruto, who was considerably younger, saying, "Stop making fun of her. I think her forehead is cute." As he stood up for Sakura, Naruto yelled, looking at the 3 bullies. One of the bullies responded, "Whatever, come on, let's get out of here." And the other 2 followed. Sakura muttered thanks as she turned to face Naruto. "I'm Naruto, what's your name?" Naruto responded, "No problem, I just can't stand bullies." "My name is Sakura." Sakura returned the greeting. Naruto grinned and replied, "Nice to meet you, Sakura," which caused her to smile back. "Hey Naruto, how about you come to my house to meet my parents?" Sakura responded. Naruto hesitantly murmured, "I don't know, Sakura, parents don't really like me." After 10 minutes, when they arrived at Sakura's house after persuading Naruto, Sakura's mother Mabuki was waiting at the front door, welcoming them both with joy. "Welcome home, Sakura, I see you brought a new friend," she exclaimed. "This is Naruto, Mom. Is it acceptable for him to stay for supper?" Sakura inquired of her parents. "Yes, sweetie, we're having pork rice tonight," remarked Kizashi, Sakura's father. Sakura told her parents during dinner that Naruto supported her in confronting bullies and that she considered him a brother. Naruto began a new bond with the Haruno family on that day. KI flashback. "Okay, everyone, tomorrow we'll be having a survival test," Kakashi stated. "But Sensei, we already did those when we're at the academy and we're ready genin," Sakura said to Kakashi. When Kakashi shocked the 3 genin by saying, "Actually there's 66% over, you might fail and has to go back to the academy," his final words before he vanished in a whirl of leaves were, "So meet at Training Ground 7 tomorrow at 8, and I recommend not eating breakfast, you'll throw up." Sakura said, "Hey Sasuke, would you like to go on a date?" "No, you're bothersome," Sasuke uttered quietly. As he leaped from the roof, Naruto declared, "I'm going to go train before tomorrow, see ya." 7:59 a.m. time skip. 3 hours later, Kakashi appeared in a cloud of smoke, and Naruto was warming up and thinking about the test as Sakura sat next to him and watched him. "Yo," he said, grinning. Together, Sakura and Naruto said, "You're late." Kakashi apologized, saying, I got lost on the road of life. Once more, Naruto and Sakura yelled. Liar! He took 2 bells out of his pocket and stated, Okay, your test is to get these bells from me. Sakura replied. But sensei, there's only 2 bells. Bewildered. Kakashi made 3 genin wide-eyed and stated, Yes, which means whoever doesn't get a bell goes back to the academy. Also, I want you to come at me for the intent to kill, he said. Before the realization dawned on him, Naruto thought, This doesn't make sense. I've never heard of a 3-man squad. Plus we're going against a Jonin and we're mere genin. We can't go against him, at least not alone. Since only Sakura and Sasuke had jumped into concealment, and Naruto was still standing there, Kakashi said, The test begins now. Aren't you an interesting one? He asked. Naruto remarked, Just thinking, the test isn't to grab the bells, it's teamwork. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask. That's correct, so I suggest you grabbing your other teammates, replied Kakashi. Wait, may I demonstrate a few of my skills before I grab them? Naruto inquired. Sure, he responded, taking out his book, which annoyed Naruto for not taking this seriously. All right, let's get started. Quantum power. Naruto yelled as he placed his morpher against his face and revealed that he was now wearing a ranger suit, startling everyone with what they had just witnessed. Wonderful, Kakashi told himself. Whoa, was the only thing that Sakura could say. While hiding in the tree, Sasuke wondered, Where did he get this power? I should have it, not him. Do you now wish to treat this seriously? As the Jonin put his book aside and lifted his headband to reveal a Sharingan that startled Sasuke, Naruto asked Kakashi while brandishing his blaster. Quantum Defender Blade Mode was used by Naruto to describe how his blade changed into a sword and he and Kakashi assumed a stance. Naruto then charged at him, swinging his sword, but Kakashi barely avoided it. So fast for a genin, Kakashi thought, adding that he was able to substitute from a swing that could have hurt him as we were avoiding. Kakashi slapped a tiger seal on it and whispered, Never let your opponents get behind you. Konoha concealed taijutsu, Sannin Gurashi. He inserted his fingers inside Naruto's, but while shouting that, shocking Kakashi when it was discovered that Naruto was a shadow clone. Are you trying to find me? When he looked around, Naruto was still standing in his suit before running into the woods. Naruto saw Sakura unconscious 5 minutes later, most likely from a genjutsu. Sakura-chan, wake up, we got to find Sasuke, he yelled, shaking her son awake when he was astonished to realize that the man in the helmet was none other than Naruto. Sakura said, Naruto, it's just you. Calmingly. We need to find Sasuke. The whole test is about teamwork. We have to work together. It doesn't matter who gets the bell, he said. Sasuke was buried from the neck down when they got there, and Naruto smirked and said beneath his helmet, I see you're doing well. Sasuke responded, Just get me out of here, dope, so I can get a bell. After they extricated him, they talked about the purpose of the exam. Naruto informed Sasuke, If we are to defeat Kakashi, we must cooperate. I don't need a dope like you to tell me what to do. I'm a Uchiha elite, I can do anything, he replied with arrogance. Naruto responded, Okay, just don't say I told you so, come on Sakura, as Sakura hurried after him. Sasuke was tied to a training pole after noon, while Naruto and Sakura were sitting by it. Well, I can say I'm disappointed in you, Mr. Uchiha Elite, Kakashi said. Only Naruto and Sakura were able to work together, while you wanted to work alone, he concluded. But I'll give you another chance. but you'll be tied there while you watch them eat because only Naruto and Sakura are eating lunch. I'm a Uchiha, you can't do that, Sasuke yelled at Kakashi. Kakashi shushined and muttered, I can if a Uchiha can't get his pride checked. Naruto swiftly cut the ropes during that time. Sakura worriedly remarked, What are you doing, Naruto? We'll be caught. While they were releasing Sasuke, Kakashi reappeared. Naruto replied, Don't worry, we can't risk him being out of fuel, he'll just slow all of us down if he doesn't have any energy. As Team 7 prepared to defend one another, Kakashi announced, You pass, with a smile that confused Sakura and Sasuke, while Naruto appeared passive behind his helmet. Your objective was to see if you could cooperate, not to get bells. Before continuing, he stated, My original sensei once told me, those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. He concluded, As of next week we'll be starting our missions. But Sasuke was grinning and thinking, I'm one step closer to killing that man. As Naruto powered down back to his suit, both of them grinning at Sakura. At this point, Naruto and Team 7 had completed their D-rank task of apprehending Tora the cat. Oh, Tora! Excitedly, the daimyo's wife grabbed him and gave him a firm embrace. Can I teach you how to properly hold a cat, Miss Daimyo? After showing how to hold it correctly, she was shocked when Tora began purring. Asked Naruto, which she wasn't reluctant about till she consented. She caressed his head and murmured, Thank you so much, young Naruto, as she walked out of the room with Tora still purring in her arms. Well, Naruto, you've finally taken care of the Tora problem. Now let's continue with rest of the D-rank missions. There's painting the fence, walking the Inuzuka dogs dash. Naruto cut him off. Gigi, we need something better. We can't do these chores any longer. Desperately, Naruto asked, standing behind the Hokage. Iruka remarked, Naruto, you recently graduated from the academy. He spoke to the one-eyed Jonin. Actually, I have one C-rank mission. Do you think your team is ready, Kakashi? Kakashi stated, Yes, I believe they're ready, without raising his head from his book. The third answered, Very well, but I'll bring in Team 10 to help you. As Team 10 arrived, Ino jumped in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke Kyuen, she yelled as she put her arms around his neck from behind. While Choji and Shikamaru were conversing and catching up with Naruto, Sakura cried, Get off him, Ino pig! In an attempt to convince Ino to stop touching him. This led to them arguing over Sasuke. Shikamaru grumbled, Difficult, we have to go on a C-rank mission. As he munched on his barbecue chips, Choji remarked, At least we get to go on a much harder mission. They were discussing the task with Kakashi and their Jounin sensei. As everyone departed to get their belongings, Hiruzen concluded, Your client will be waiting for you at the eastern gates. Meet up there in 1 hour. Pack up to be ready for a week-long mission. After waiting for the other sons for an hour, Naruto was prepared for the task. Surprisingly, Kakashi was present as well. Yo, Kakashi said hello, Sakura shouted. Kakashi-sensei, you're on time! He gestured for everyone to approach their client, saying, Of course, this is our first mission outside the village, and we have to be ready. Everyone, this is Tazuna, and we'll be guarding him to the land of waves, he stated. While everyone except Naruto and Shikamaru was in a rage, Tazuna described the genin, saying, These are the ones who will protect me, 2 princesses, a duckbutt-style emo, a chubby who's constantly eating chips, a lazy pineapple hair, and the last one's is okay, I guess. Don't worry, Tazuna-san, Our genin is well prepared for this mission and protect you with their lives. Asuma replied. Very well, I'm Tazuna the Great Bridge Builder and I hope you're right, mister. Tazuna replied. They were traveling to Nami no Kuni when they exited the gates. At the moment, the genins were positioned as Kakashi and Asuma had designated, Sakura and Ino in the back, Choji and Shikamaru in the center on either side, and Naruto and Sasuke at the front. When Kakashi raised his voice, Sakura questioned, Tazuna-san, doesn't Nami no Kuni have their own ninja? No, Sakura, some villages like Nami no Kuni doesn't have and any ninja to hire, unlike bigger villages like ours have kages or daimyos that help establish the ninja, and Nami no Kuni doesn't have one, Kakashi told Sakura. Naruto, Kakashi, and Asuma were strolling when they spotted a puddle. Since it hadn't been raining, they thought it may be a genjutsu. Two ninjas leaped out and used chains to bind Kakashi and Asuma by their arms and legs, causing them to separate. H, Sakura and Ino exclaimed, shocked to learn that their jounins had died. One of them stated, 2 down, 1 to go, as they prepared to murder Tazuna next while attempting to murder Sakura and Inoue. Fortunately, Naruto arrived in time to save them. Soon after they started fighting, Kakashi and Asuma disclosed that they were hidden in a bush. Naruto sidestepped a punch while making a clone to deal with the other and swiftly knocked them both out by chopping them on the back of their necks and then tying them up. Kakashi / Asuma-sensei, Ino and Sakura exclaimed, both relieved to be alive. Kakashi remarked, Good work, Naruto, on knocking both ninja out. The rest of you good work on protecting Tazuna. As everyone grinned save Sasuke, who was clenching his teeth in rage. Sasuke smirked as he thought, How does the dobe have so much power? It must be that device on his wrist. I'll make him give it to me later. Tazuna was asked by Kakashi. Those were the demon brothers Tazuna and B-rank Nuke Nines. Is there something you're not telling us? Tazuna told the ninja. Well, you see, a tyrant named Gato rules my country. Asuma asked. As in Gato's shippings? As he turned to face the genin, Tazuna explained. Yes, you see, my country started to become low on money ever since he came to Nami no Kuni because he kept taking out for his company. Please, you're the only hope we got, he begged Kakashi. Alright everyone, the C-rank mission is now a B-rank to A-rank. We'll vote on whether we keep going or go back, Kakashi stated. Naruto shocked everyone with his response when he shouted, I say we keep going. He yelled with determination. I won't allow these people to suffer to a man that's taking money from others, so I say we keep going. This made everyone even more determined to keep going. It'll be more troublesome if we fail. Shikamaru sighed, adding, Troublesome, let's keep going. According to Choji. Yeah, I agree on this one, when Sasuke said, and I agree on the dobe. After a brief period of reflection, Ino and Sakura nodded their assent to continue. Kakashi remarked, Then it's settled, we keep going. Which pleased Tazuna. Tazuna praised Kakashi, saying, Thank you, you have no idea how much this means to me. After half an hour, soon after, the group came to a river where a man was waiting for them on a boat. As they boarded, they noticed a massive, incomplete bridge. Sakura remarked, That bridge is huge, as everyone gaped at it. Yes, once I finish this bridge, I'll be able to make trades from the fire country, Tazuna replied. The boat driver said, This is as far as I can take you. As everyone disembarked, Naruto heads a rustle near a bush and throws a kunai near the bush, revealing a white rabbit leaping by out as everyone is making their way to Tazuna's house. Ino reprimanded Naruto, saying, "You could have killed that little bunny." Naruto told them, "Wait, that bunny's fur is white, which means it's a snow rabbit and it's not even winter," till a gigantic swung at them. When Ino opened her eyes, she saw Naruto on top of her face to face, a few inches away, staring at each other's eyes. Both of them blushed at this sight as Naruto helped her up. "Sorry about that," Naruto said, averting his gaze from Ino while still blushing and looking down at her accomplishment. "Everybody get down!" Naruto yelled as he tackled Ino to the ground, and the cleaver almost struck them both, embedding Ino to a tree. She answered, "That's okay," while continuing to gaze down. "Why am I blushing? Do I have a crush on Sasuke?" she asked. "I thought," she said. Soon after, a guy emerged with a dark green sleeveless tank top, dark green baggy pants, light blue gloves, and shinobi sandals. He had bandages over his mouth and a kiri headband on the side of his head. He took out the sword that was implanted in the tree and pointed it at the Konoha team. "Kakashi of the Sharingan and Asuma of the 12 Guardians, no wonder the demon brothers lost," remarked the individual. With Asuma holding his trench knives ready and a kunai in a reverse grip, Kakashi declared, "Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist and one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist in A-rank Nukenin." As he and Kakashi pushed forward, Asuma declared, "Everyone protect the client Kakashi and I will take care of this." Then, stunning Sasuke, Kakashi removed the left side of his headband to expose a Sharingan. "Miza Bunshin no Jutsu." Zabuza made 3 water clones to attack the genin. As this was going on, Kakashi and Asuma were fighting each other, with Kakashi using his kunai to block Zabuza's Kubikiri Bocho and Asuma using his trench knives and wind chakra to battle a water clone. The genins were also fighting 2 water clones. A water clone that Naruto and Sasuke were battling managed to get past them and was ready to slice Ino in 2 until, SHLEK, Naruto used his own hands to stop the hit, shocking Ino by putting his life at danger for her. Still in disbelief and with tears streaming from the corner of her eyes, Ino questioned, "Naruto, but why?" He threw the sword back and gave the clone a fast stroke, saying, "Because those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash." When Sasuke muttered, "HN, what an idiot, risking his life for some dead weight, you should have let her die, dobe," everyone stared at him in disbelief, especially Kakashi. After that, Kakashi and Asuma were battling alongside the actual Zabuza, not realizing they were up against a water clone until they stabbed him in the chest, turning into water. The real Zabuza shouted, "Water style! Water prison jutsu!" as Kakashi and Asuma became trapped in a water dome. Naruto ignored Kakashi's cries. "Everyone get out of here, you're no match for a ninja like him." Even though his hands were still bleeding from the previous blow, Naruto yelled, "No way, I'm not leaving a comrade just like you said, Kakashi-sensei." Zabuza inquired, "And how are you going to be me, little genin?" When the smoke cleared, Naruto said, "Like this," and put his left wrist to his face. "Quantum power!" he exclaimed, and to the surprise of everyone including Team 7, he was suddenly in his form. Zabuza said, "Nice trick, now let's see what you can do," while preparing his Kubikiri Bocho. "Quantum Defender Blaster Mode!" Naruto exclaimed, pressing a red button on the side as he charged forward, his blaster blazing at Zabuza, who was using his Zanbatsu to block all of the lasers. Naruto quickly began to dodge the gigantic sword's blows. Naruto said, "Computer assist strategy." as a screen displaying numerous codes and tactics, along with an image of his blaster switching into blade mode, appeared within his helmet. Through Naruto's helmet, the computer displayed the message: Quantum Ranger, it's best to use blade mode against your target. On the screen before him, Naruto yelled, "Okay, Quantum Defender blade mode," as he hit the red button once again. His blaster then transformed into a sword, revealing a lengthy blade and folding handle to line up with the head. "Like that sword will handle against my Kubikurabocho, it's one of the strongest swords," stated Zabuza. "Yeah, well, I haven't seen a sword like mine before," Naruto replied to Zabuza as he prepared to attack. Then, drawing his sword, Naruto lunged forward to attack Zabuza. Clang! Sparks flew from their blades, startling Zabuza, and only the other 7 swords could deflect his. Now as they were fighting with swords, Naruto yelled at Zabuza, "Why work for Gato? He's a tyrant." "You don't understand, I need the money for the war we have in Kirigakure. I need it to provide it for the rebels. The current Mizukage is trying to rid all the bloodline users from Kiri, and I'm trying to provide money for more weapons and other supplies for the rebels. If I don't get this money, all the rebels including the bloodline users will be wiped out," Zabuza said of preventing a second strike. They both paused for a moment before Naruto spoke up again. "How about this? If you work with us to get rid of Gato, we can steal all the money back from them and give you the necessary money for you and the rebels," he said, holding out his hand. "But you know Gato is a tyrant. He won't pay you at all if you kill us. You know he won't pay you and try to kill you," he said. "What do you say?" he asked for an agreement. Zabuza paused to consider his feet before raising his head again. "You have a deal, Gaki," he remarked, shocking everyone by shaking Naruto's hand. Together with Asuma, Kakashi thought, "Leave it to Naruto to make friends with everyone we meet." As someone wearing a battle kimono and wearing a mask emerged from a tree, Zabuza remarked, "Haku, come down here, we don't serve Gato anymore. We'll be working with these ninja to help Tazuna from now on." Zabuza continued. "Hi, Zabuza-sama," the now named Haku replied, removing the mask to reveal that she was a girl. Naruto responded, "Power down," after putting on his original attire. "Tazuna, how much farther to your home?" he inquired. Tazuna remarked, "Just another mile, not much farther." Naruto stated, "Good, now, Kakashi, I need you to carry me," as he turned to face Kakashi. "Why?" he inquired. Naruto stated, "Because of the blow earlier made me lose a lot of blood," as his hands continued to flow. Naruto then collapsed, and Kakashi dressed the wound. "This is my opportunity," Sasuke thought as he attempted to seize Naruto's morpher, but Kakashi's hand caught his wrist, preventing him from doing so. Kakashi remarked, "Don't even consider it, Sasuke, it doesn't belong to you," and released Sasuke's wrist. "Why does the dope have that power? I should have it, not him. He's just a clanless loser. I'm a Uchiha and elite," he shouted at Kakashi. "Listen here, Sasuke, I don't care if you're a Uchiha, because you just did something unforgivable, abandoning your comrade Ino while Naruto here actually protected her. Congratulations, Sasuke, you're worse than trash," Kakashi said, picking up Naruto while continuing to glare at Sasuke. Kakashi's words caused him to shake. While Choji and Shikamaru were glaring at Sasuke, the rest of the group followed Kakashi and Asuma. Ino and Sakura humphed at him while turning their heads away in disgust, wondering why they had fallen in love with him in the first place. Soon after, they reached a house close to the docks, and when Tazuna knocked on the door, a stunning woman emerged to greet them. He told his daughter, Everyone, this is my daughter Tsunami. These are the ninja I hired to protect us and help finish. She pointed to Naruto, who was still comatose from blood loss and was hanging on his back, and said to Kakashi, "Welcome everyone. Oh my, is he going to be alright?" "He'll be fine. Do you have a room so I can set him down?" Kakashi responded. As she led Kakashi to the chamber, she added, "Yes, follow me." Within the mindscape of Naruto, as they were conversing in a room apart from the sewer, Eric remarked, "That was very reckless." Naruto had constructed this for him rather than sitting in the sewer, so they were now sitting beside a kitchen table. Naruto questioned, "Didn't you always do reckless things when you were the Quantum Ranger?" As Eric shot him a deadpan expression. Eric remarked, "Now go, you're about to wake up," as Naruto quickly vanished. "Okay, you got me there too, and I sensed the Q-Red Zord along with the TF Eagle around here somewhere. Go look for it," he stated. Actual world. When Naruto's son awoke in a state of doom, the door opened and Ino appeared. "Hey Naruto, I didn't mean to wake you or anything. I just came to see if you were alright," she stated with worry. Naruto said, "Hey Ino, I'm fine, just tired," as he got out of bed. "Listen, I came to thank you for saving me and I want to apologize for being so mean around during the academy. I just didn't realize how selfish Sasuke can be," she added, her eyes welling with tears. Then, to her surprise, Naruto approached and stood in front of her, wiping away the tears and cupping both sides of her face. "It's okay, I know you were just blinded by a childhood crush," he assured you. "No, it's not. It would have been better if I had focused on the academy and become a ninja than focus on some stupid idiot," she replied. His foxy smile made her blush. "Hey, it doesn't matter if you'd focus or not, you become a ninja your own way, and besides, I'm sure there's a right guy for you out there somewhere," he added. She called his name. "Hey Naruto." "Yes?" He returned the call. "I think I just found the right guy for me," she remarked. "Really, who?" he inquired before. "You," she murmured, grabbing his trench coat's collar and bringing it forward to her face. She then gave him a startled kiss on the lips, to which Naruto responded with a kiss of his own. Soon after, Naruto began to open his mouth to request entry, and they engaged in a furious tongue war over control. When they opened their mouths to breathe, a trickle of saliva ran between their tongues. As Ino blushed at the honorifics, he muttered in a stupor, "Ino-shan, I don't know what to say." She responds, "Then don't say anything," as they share another passionate, intense kiss. He looked dejected as he said, "Wait, Ino-chan, I'm under the CRA, meaning I'll have to date more than one girl." Naruto grinned, knowing that everything would be alright, and they resumed kissing. "I don't care, I just want to be with you. Besides, I don't mind sharing, you have a big heart," Ino remarked. As soon as Kakashi stood by the doorway and said, "I hate to interrupt, but it's time for lunch," Naruto and Ino's son broke up, their faces still hot. Upon descending the stairs, they discovered that everyone was seated around a table, with Tsunami and Haku in the kitchen cooking the food. To the surprise of everyone but Kakashi, Naruto and Ino sat hand in hand as they sat down. "Alright, after dinner we're going to train with everyone and have a spar later," he said. Sasuke approached Naruto as they were leaving after finishing their lunch. He insisted, "Give me that device." As everyone watched, Naruto glared at Sasuke and narrowed his eyes, asking, "Excuse me?" "I said give me that device. A dobe like you shouldn't have it, it should belong to a Uchiha elite like me," he remarked pompously. Naruto said with an internal smirk, "No way, Sasuke. I earned this morpher. You didn't do anything to deserve this. Plus it's bonded to my DNA, so it's worthless to take it from me, he concluded. Fine. And turned to go, thinking, I'll just have the council make you give it to me. Kakashi confused the two squads by saying, Okay, today you'll be climbing trees, Sakura remarked. But sensei, we already know how to climb trees, Naruto said. He means to climb without using our hands and instead using our chakra to climb trees. I'll show you. As he moved forward in front of a tree and began to close his eyes while channeling chakra into his feet, he then surprised everyone by climbing up the tree while Sasuke gritted his teeth because Naruto was doing something he wasn't. Kakashi remarked, Very good, Naruto, and since you already mastered the exercise, you'll be practicing with Zabuza and his partner Haku, which made Sasuke tighten his jaw even more. Everyone glared at Sasuke as he yelled, How come he gets to spar while I get stuck with a bunch of weak idiots? Kakashi, Asuma, Zabuza, and Haku in particular. Kakashi scowled at Sasuke and remarked, Because Sasuke, Naruto already learned it while you and the rest of the group haven't. Soon after, Haku was observing from the sidelines as Naruto, Zabuza, and he prepared for their fight in a clearing. Zabuza drew his enormous blade and yelled, Okay, Gaki, come out with all you got. As he changed into his costume and pulled out his blaster, he exclaimed, Whatever you say, no brows, quantum power! Blade mode in Quantum Defender. Now when their blades were colliding and sparks were flying from blow to blow, he screamed. They were worn out and breathing heavily after a half-hour of sparring. Zabuza remarked, That's enough, you weren't half bad, Gaki. And he put his blade aside. According to Naruto, I appreciate the compliment. All right, I'm returning to the house. Will you be joining me? As Naruto was putting away his blade, Zabuza inquired. As he continued to move deeper into the forest, he said, No, I have to go find something. I'll be back at the house later. Haku responded, I'll go keep an eye on him. As she trailed Naruto. After 5 minutes, Naruto, tell me if you have a special someone in your life. As they strolled through the jungle and Naruto used his morpher to survey the surroundings, Haku inquired, Yeah, I have people precious to me, although it's not much, but I can't ask for better people in my village, Naruto said after pausing for a moment to reflect. Back in my village, a lot of people hate me for having something I don't have control over. But my precious people saved me from being alone for so long, he added, before saying, You were just like me. Haku was taken aback. He turned to face her. When I was younger, my father killed my mother for releasing Hayatan, and he tried to kill me next, but I killed him before I could. I then met Zabuza and he was the only precious person I have, she said, shedding a tear when Naruto wiped it from her cheek. Naruto grinned and continued, You have me as a precious person, startling Haku and causing her to flush. She was still blushing when she thought, I'm a precious person to him. Until Naruto's morpher began beeping rapidly, signaling that they were getting close. He said, We're getting close. As they proceeded till they came to a huge hill. Eric remarked within Naruto's thoughts. Naruto just shouts their names into the morpher to activate the TF Eagle and Q-Rex. All right, TF Eagle. As the ground began to rise, Naruto yelled, and a tiny, white, jet-like vehicle with a long snout in front, a massive jet turbine on the back, and 2 dome-pointed wings on the side painted blue emerged. Haku remarked, Amazing, as he gazed at the car before yelling another word into his morpher. Arise, Q-Rex! As a whole earthquake occurred, Naruto yelled. The hills soon began to rise as the dirt began to fall, and a giant robotic dinosaur appeared. It had a large silver feet, a silver torso with a long, ridged tail, 2 laser cannons on the back of its shoulder, short, clawed arms, a large red and black crest on its head, and an arrow symbol on its forehead that was connected to Naruto's helmet. Its upper and lower jaws were both silver and red. The Q-Red roared, "R-A-A-W-W-W-W-W-W-W-R-R-R-R-R-R-R," causing Haku and Naruto to shield their ears. Naruto grinned and remarked, "I think I just found the jackpot," as the enormous metal dinosaur let out another roar. Teams 7 and 10 continued their training as Naruto and Haku made their way home to Tazuna's house. Suddenly, Sasuke paused and approached Naruto and Haku, focusing on Haku. Was it Haku? She'll be ideal for reviving the Uchiha clan with Hayatown release, Sasuke asked with a sly smile. He thought arrogantly. Yes, Haku said, squinting at him with suspicion. He smiled as he replied, I was wondering if you and I can know one another. Haku turned away from him and said, No thanks, I don't like those who think their comrades are just dead weight. She smiled at Naruto and put her arms around him, who was now blushing and scratching the back of his head. I like people who help their comrades and don't abandon them, she said. Why hang around the dobe when you can hang around an elite like me? Sasuke replied with a smug grin before he began to grind his teeth in rage. She dragged Naruto into the home and said, Because I don't like to think my comrades are lower than myself, unlike you. As everyone else finished their training and Sasuke entered last, now frowning at Naruto. Now that they were all inside, they were eating dinner and debating how to handle Gato when a different voice claimed to be Inari's. You will die if you continue to try. Gato's too strong, he shouted at the two groups. As he read his book, Kakashi remarked. Well, unlike you, we are trained to deal with people like Gato. Whether you're a ninja or not, you have no idea what it's like to be in pain. As the room became quiet, Inari yelled, and Naruto approached, his hair casting shadows over his eyes. Now that Naruto was facing Inari, everyone was taken aback by what transpired next. Naruto comforted Inari by embracing him, causing Inari to display a wide-eyed look. As everyone stared at Naruto with sadness and Sasuke believed he was lying, Tsunami covered her mouth with tears streaming down her cheeks, and Tazuna gritted his teeth because his village was full of idiots, he said. I know what it's like to suffer. I lost my parents just when I was born. I was alone. People bested me, kicked me out of stores or overcharged my food, always glared at me or whispered about calling me a demon. When I was in the academy, teachers tried to sabotage my grades, and the other kids just ignored me or picked on me. Inari began to embrace Naruto once more while sobbing. But one thing I learned is to get stronger to protect those you care about and those who care about you, he said, letting go as he grinned and patted Inari's head. Besides, you still have your mother and grandfather, so my advice is to protect them with all your life from people like Gato, he said. Inari apologized to everyone as he left to his room while everyone else was still eating, and a few seconds after Naruto announced that he was going to rest for tomorrow. Were all the claims accurate? Tsunami, still in tears, begged Kakashi. No. Everyone exhaled with relief. That was the sugar-coated version, he continued, adding to everyone's amazement. I was in ANBU to guard Naruto and saw many things people tried to do to him. Sasuke simply turned his head away. Skip ahead to next week. While the rest of his crew completed their tree-climbing training, Naruto was able to assist Tazuna in finishing the bridge before Gato and his thugs could arrive because of the quantity of shadow clones he could make. Upstairs in one of Tazuna's chambers, Naruto was still asleep when he was awakened by a loud cry coming from downstairs. "Let go of my Ka-san!" As he hurriedly dressed and ran into the living room, he heard Inari shout. Inari attempted to defend his mother while Tsunami was being held captive by two bandits, but they pulled him away and attempted to kill him, saying, "You leave him alone, if you don't I'll bite my tongue!" Tsunami shouted. As Tsunami trembled in terror, one of them stated, "Okay, Gato said to kidnap the bridge builder's daughter, but he didn't say we can't have fun with her." But then someone kicked both guys to the side, revealing themselves to be Naruto. "Avoid her at all costs!" As he prepared to attack with a kunai, he shouted. Naruto was avoiding every blow they made as he parried the blows with his kunai during the struggle. He eventually knocked out both bandits by swiftly moving behind their backs, slashing the back of their necks, and tying them up. "Are you okay?" he asked Tsunami as she nodded. He then walked over to Inari's, patting on the head, telling he was a hero for trying to save his mom while telling him to gather the villagers to the bridge. Naruto was now running while putting his wrist to his mouth. "Quantum power!" he yelled as he was now in Ranger's suit. "TF Eagle!" As he sprang into the cockpit and made his way to the bridge, his jet-like vehicle was now hovering next to him. A handful of Tazuna's builders were discovered dead in their own bloody pools as the others were making their way to the bridge. "What took place here?" Speaking to one of the survivors, Tazuna shouted. His breath was a "Jigato is here. What is this, Zabuza? You joined the enemy and betrayed me." The team looked to the other side of the bridge after hearing a voice say, "So much for the demon of the mist." They saw a number of bandits brandishing swords and weapons, and Gato, a short, stubby, gray-haired man in a business suit and sunglasses, said, "Kill them all but leave the women, we'll save them for later." As the thugs grinned sickeningly, making Haku, Ino, and Sakura shuddered in fear of how they meant fun. Several red laser beams from the sky struck the guys as they were about to attack. What startled them the most was a red-suited someone standing atop a jet-like vehicle. The individual quickly leaped down and appeared beside the Konoha ninja. Asuma had his trench knives out with his wind chakra on them, Kakashi had a kunai ready, and Zabuza stated, "You're just in time, Gaki," as he took his Kubikura Bocho. Naruto stated, "So you must be Gato," beneath his helmet. As the rest of his bandits waited to charge, Gato remarked, "Like a brat, like you can take out all of us." Naruto was about to charge when something popped in his helmet's visor. "Let's just hurry up so we can go home," he murmured. "What's this, some kind of transmission? Mega battle? All right," he asked. "Mega battle online." As a huge explosion engulfed Naruto, he screamed while pushing a button on his morpher. Everyone was staring in wonder as Sasuke gritted his teeth because the Doge had more power than him. When the fire subsided, Naruto was no longer just wearing his ranger suit. He was also wearing a golden chest plate with his rigged arrow crest on the front, gold knee guards on his legs, a pair of enormous rocket-like shoes on his feet, a clear visor over his helmet, and a black jet pack on his back with purple wings. Ready for battle, with his helmet folded back, his jet pack transformed into purple hand blades with a laser trigger as it moved to his hands, and his rocket thrusters transformed into roller skates. Naruto yelled via his morpher, "Combat!" As all of his bandits raced toward Naruto, Gato screamed, as Kakashi, Asuma, and Zabuza were eliminating the other bandits. Naruto swung his blades around and skated forward, slashing thugs as he attempted to reach Gato. When he was surrounded by thugs, he immediately leaped horizontally, slashed while spinning in the air, and landed back onto his feet. He then skated back and faced the other bandits, using his blades to turn into blasters and sent a group charging in. Once all the bandits were gone, only Gato remained standing, so Naruto skated toward him, causing him to fall back onto his rear. Mega Battle, Power Down! Naruto was then returned to his original ranger suit. I'll give you anything, money, women, land, spare me, please! Gato sank to his knees and begged. Naruto pointed one of his blasters at Gato and said, How about all your bank account numbers and the keys to your cells from all the women you kidnapped? Gato then swiftly jotted down all of his bank account numbers and keys to his mansion, and gave them to Naruto. Okay, you're spared, but that doesn't mean you're off the hook yet, Naruto said as he swiftly bound Gato. When they returned to the end of the bridge a little while later, they were met by all of the civilians with various weapons. They were startled to find Gato bound and being pulled by Naruto until he flung him to the throng. As Naruto returned to the group, he heard cries of Gato being attacked by the enraged villagers. He's all yours, he stated, and Kakashi nodded in agreement. Let's get to Gato's mansion and get the money and hostages, he continued. After a few minutes, now that the genins were in front of a big mansion, Naruto asked them to look for Gato's vault while he looked for the prison cells. They all nodded. As Naruto searched for the cells, he discovered a hidden door behind Gato's desk and proceeded inside, where a spiral staircase led down. When he reached the end of the staircase, he discovered a sizable metal cell filled with women who were afraid Naruto in his ranger suit would attack them. I'm here to get you all out, so stand back, Naruto told them, shocking all the women. It's okay, you don't have to worry about Gato, he's dead, he said, and they followed his instructions as he produced Gato's keys and unlocked the cell door. Go, my team is upstairs waiting, he said, as everyone thanked him and some kissed his cheeks, making him flush beneath his helmet. After all the women had left, Naruto saw another girl sitting in the rear corner of the cell, still terrified. Hey, come on, we gotta get out of here, he murmured, bending down to approach her. The girl wore orange shorts, a pink undershirt, a green belt tied around her hips, and a blue apron. She had purple hair that was tied down to her shoulders, bandages wrapped around her forehead as it crossed over to the left, more wrapped around her left arm, and more wrapped around her left leg. Naruto said worriedly, Hey, you okay? Everyone is waiting back at the village? Gazing up at his helmet, she continued, I'm fine. I just feel like it's better for me to stay here, Naruto questioned. Why is your family is probably waiting for you? She stares down at her accomplishment with a few tears streaming down her cheeks. I don't have a family, I'm all alone, and the village hates me because of who I am, or what I am, she says. He questioned. Why would a village hate you? Because of this, she explained, as her skin began to grow green fish scales and her limbs grew larger, turning into flippers that grew fins on top of her head. She began to cry more, assuming Naruto would go away for the night, but he startled her by wiping away her tears. Come on, I'll help you get out, he said, grinning beneath his mask, causing the girl to blush beneath her scales. All I see is a girl with extraordinary powers, he added. Then, while everyone else was waiting outside escorting all the women back to the village, Naruto assisted her in carrying her upstairs, causing Ino and Haku to stare at her. At that point, she returned to her normal self. Naruto remarked, By the way, I never got your name, Isaribi. After a day, Inari asked Naruto, who was dressed normally, Do you really have to leave Inai-san? Teams 7 and 10 were on the bridge with Haku and Isaribi, while Zabuza remained. Don't worry, I'll come over sometime, Naruto added, giving Inari a head pat. The majority of the women were applauding Naruto, which made him flush a little, while everyone else was applauding the ninja. Are you sure you don't want to come with us, Zabuza-sama? Haku inquired. Actually, I have to get back to the rebels, and stop calling me Sama, you're my daughter, replied Zabuza. Yes, father, Haku replied as she embraced him tightly. Naruto heard Zabuza say, Keep her safe. Naruto clasped hands with the gigantic sword wielder and stated, You have my word, Kakashi remarked. Come on, let's head back to Konoha. Now in his ranger suit, Naruto was mumbling to his teammates. Don't worry, I have a faster way to get back, quantum power, before yelling once more. TF Eagle. The jet-like vehicle was back, and he leaped into the cockpit. I'll give you guys a lift, he said, pressing a button on the panel as a hatch door opened from the bottom of the cockpit. As soon as everyone got inside, the hatch door closed and the car turned around. The villagers were waving goodbye, and Naruto was waving back. The car soon began to hover in the air before swiftly departing, leaving Nami no Kuni. As Inari gazed at the departing figure in the sky, she questioned, What are gonna name the bridge, Grandpa? As the audience applauded the idea, Tazuna exclaimed, I propose that we call it the Great Naruto Bridge in honor of the hero who liberated our territory. A couple of hours later, two Chunin guards, Kotetsu and Izumo, were playing cards back at the gates of Konoha when the wind began to pick up quickly. They looked up to see a strange vehicle approaching and landing in front of them as they were getting ready to see if the person was an enemy. When the hatch from the bottom appeared, they were shocked to see Teams 7 and 10 and two girls they didn't recognize leaving, while a man in a red suit from the top leaped off the cockpit as the vehicle vanished in a red light. Kakashi said, Team 7 and 10 reporting back from a Seedank mission, as he continued to read his book. All right, but who are the girls and the guy in the helmet? Iruka responded. Power down, just me guys, Naruto said as his suit vanished and he changed back into his clothing, shocking the Chunins in the process. At the Hokage Tower a short while later, while the rest of the team was waiting outside, Kakashi was briefing the mission on how to make a C-rank mission into an A-rank operation and how Naruto ultimately turned the adversaries into comrades. At the moment, Kakashi, Asuma, Naruto, Haku, and Isaribi were speaking with the Hokage. As three Kage Bunshins filled out paperwork, Hiruzen grinned and said, Sai, leave it to Naruto-kun to make friends with everyone. Now that's out of the way, I need to discuss instating Isaribi-chan and Haku-chan as Konoha shinobis, he said, until an ANBU wearing a dragon mask showed up. As the Hokage let out a frustrated sigh, he remarked, Hokage-sama, the council would like a word with you and Naruto-san, he responded. Very well, dismissed. As the ANBU vanished. After a few minutes, the citizens, with the exception of Mabuki, were glaring or sneering as Naruto entered the chamber behind the Hokage, while the clan leaders were grinning or nodding their heads at him. Sasuke was standing next to the civilians. Glaring at the civilian side without Mabuki, Hiruzen questioned, What is the meaning of this? When he mentioned that the youngster was Naruto, one of them sneered. Hokage-sama, Uchiha-sama explained to us that the boy carries a strange device on his wrist, is that correct? According to Hiruzen. Yes, that is true. May we see it? Inquired the citizen. As Naruto demonstrated the gadget, they were curious about what it was and considering how to steal it from him. As Hiruzen began to reveal his murderous intentions, one of the counselors remarked, Hokage-sama, clearly that device belongs to the Uchiha clan and the boy clearly stole it from him. Which made him stop talking. the Sandaime stated. In actuality, this device does not belong to the Uchiha clan. Nowhere in the Uchiha archive says they own a device like this. And shortly after, Sasuke approached Naruto. Sasuke screamed once more, "Give me that device!" as the clan heads glared at him. Naruto answered, "No, I already told you. It's bonded to my DNA, so it's useless for you to use it," which infuriated Sasuke even more. "Then I'll just have to take it." The morpher quickly began to reply when Sasuke attempted to seize Naruto's wrist. "DNA not recognized. Initiate security protocol," it said, and then it began shocking Sasuke, who stumbled back from the morpher and let go of Naruto's wrist as his body twitched from touching it while Naruto remained unharmed. As the civilians were terrified and stunned by the death of a civilian, he was severed from an ANBU wearing a Nico mask, who stabbed him in the heart. "The demon hurt Uchiha-sama, we must ACK." Hiruzen shocked the clan heads by saying, "Of the Sandaime law being broken, he is executed," as he turned to face Sasuke. "As for the Uchiha, from the reports of your mission, your sensei explained, you abandoned your teammate Ino while also calling her dead weight and saying you should just let her die," he said, making Sasuke shudder. Inoichi exclaimed, "He did what?" as Shikaku and Chozo restrained him from attempting to strangle the alleged Uchiha elite. "Calm down, Inoichi, I'll take care of him," Hiruzen said, causing Inoichi to calm down a little while still glaring at Sasuke. "As for this Sasuke, you're under probation and cutting off your chakra network to your Sharingan for 1 week," he said, causing everyone to go silent. "Enough!" he yelled while releasing killer intent, making the civilians tremble in fear because Sarutobi was being himself again, while the clan heads and Mabuki were grinning or smirking in gratitude to Kami. "As of now, the civilian side are not allowed in any shinobi or clan matters ever," he said, shocking the civilians minus Mabuki and making Sasuke gritting his teeth. One of them yelled, "You can't do that!" till he halted, terrified of the murderous intent Hiruzen had on him, creating noise. He rushed forward to Sasuke and slapped a chakra suppression seal on him, causing him to collapse. "You think you can take me on, ANBU, take him away!" he yelled as the ANBU appeared and took him home, cutting off his chakra coils and applying a suppression seal that prevented him from activating his Sharingan. "I can and I will!" Hiruzen exclaimed, but what followed shocked everyone. When Sasuke attempted to attack the Hokage, everyone was taken aback and began to have concerns about him. A couple of hours later, while enjoying some ramen at Ichiraku, Naruto, Haku, Ino, Sakura, and Isaribi were discussing what had happened in the council room, surprising Tochi and Ayam. They also learned that Sasuke had attempted to assault the Hokage. "I can't believe I was in love with him," Ino muttered, glancing down at her bowl, when she turned to see Naruto's hand on her shoulder. He blushed and smiled back, saying, "Hey, don't worry about it, it was just a childhood crush," as Haku and Isaribi appeared envious of Ino. Soon after, they heard someone yelling, so they hurried to find out who it was. "Kankuro, we don't have time for this," said a blonde girl with 4 pigtails tied on the back. She was wearing a short black skirt, a red sash around her neck, a Suna headband around her neck, and black ninja sandals. She was wearing a long-sleeved light purple shirt that reached her shoulders down to her waist with a fishnet shirt underneath. "Don't worry, Tamari. This pipsqueak will learn to watch where he was going," replied the now-named Kankuro, who was wearing a long black shirt and pants, a black hood with 2 cat-like tips, and purple makeup. As his 2 pals Udan and Moigi stood by, observing and attempting to persuade Kankuro to release him, He was currently trying to liberate Konohamaru by holding him up by his scarf. Someone yelled, "What's going on here?" And everyone turned to see who it was, Naruto, who was standing beside the road with Ino, Isaribi, Sakura, and Haku. "Put the kid down!" he screamed at Kankuro, who was grinning smugly. When Temari first saw Naruto, she thought, "He's cute, I wonder if he's single," as she blushed and gazed at him. Kankuro laughed and mocked. "And what are you gonna do?" He was startled by a blast noise and his burning hands, which caused him to release Konohamaru, landing him on his butt. "What the hell was that?" he cried as Kankuro released his grip and screamed from the burn on his hand. He blew on the smoking hands to heal himself, and when he and Temari turned to face Naruto, they saw him using his quantum defender with the barrel smoking, indicating that he had shot Kankuro's hand. "And tell your red-headed friend to come down from the tree," Naruto shouted, still holding the blaster in front of Kankuro. "That's what happens if you don't leave a kid alone." Before long, sand began to migrate from the tree to the ground as it dissipated, and a kid had emerged. Wearing black shinobi pants and sandals, a black shirt with a fishnet undersleeve that exposed the sleeves, a white fabric around his right shoulder, and a big gourd strapped to his back, he had red hair and a kanji for love on his forehead. "Kankuro, you are a disgrace to our village," he continued, gazing at Kanekuro with his arms crossed. Gaara interrupted Kankuro, saying, "But Gaara, these guys dash. Shut up or I'll kill you," he said, frightening Kakuro while Temari fretted over his brother. As his blaster vanished in a crimson glow, Gaara apologized to Naruto for his brother's foolishness. "That's quite all right, so I notice your headbands are Suna, meaning you're here for the upcoming Chunin exams," he added with a nod. Gaara mentioned, "That's correct, we'll be seeing you," as he and his teammates prepared to depart, but Naruto interrupted. He addressed the Suna team, saying, "Wait, I'd like to know your name." Temari pointed to herself and questioned, blushing, "You mean me?" He grinned like a fox and replied, "Sure, but I would like to know your other teammates as well." Naruto's smile made Temari flush. "I'm Sabaku no Temari, it's nice to meet you," she added. He walked away with Temari and Kankuro after him, but not before giving Naruto a wink that made him flush. "I'm Sabaku no Gaara, and these are my siblings Kankuro and Temari. We will see you soon, mother want your blood," he added. Sakura went directly home, while Ino took Haku and Isaribi shopping. Naruto was on his way home a little while later. Haku, Isaribi, and Ino were now traveling together and conversing when Ino struck up a new discussion. As the two females blushed, she continued with a mischievous smile. "So you girls like Naruto, huh?" "Yes," Haku responded, looking down. "But we know about your relationship with him," and Isaribi nodded. She surprised them both by saying, "Well, what if I told you I wouldn't mind sharing? Because he's the last of his clan, he now under the CRA, meaning he has to have multiple girlfriends," she added. "You really let us do that?" Isaribi questioned, her shocked expression. As they looked through the stores, they blushed deeply. "Sure, I don't mind sharing," she responded.